guys, to everyone. It's Ada from Poison Rock, and it's my pleasure to give a welcome back to Travis from CONTRACULT. Collective, I should say, or CONTRACULT is simple.
I think just CONTRACULT's fine. We still have that name collective attached to it
Yeah,
for I don't know, for some legal reasons that never came up. There's no reason for it, but
so
it's
from
too
CONTRACULT.
complicated to change on all our platforms now. So if you want to find our music, it's that. If you want to see a show, it's remove the collective.
Yeah, so it's CONTRACULT now. Of course, last time we spoke, there wasn't even released, I think it was almost to be released the process and with all the EP, with all the intensity that carry within. I mean, from there was a lot, these three singles out, the remix out, and of course, there is a little bit of new music coming up that we're
Yeah.
gonna talk about.
Hmm.
But before, I mean, we can talk now more about each of the three songs because before we couldn't, we have to wait the release.
Sure.
Starting with my episode because it's like a it's you can feel the percussion, you can feel this track is a kind of sonic simulation like of malfunction, or it was just like a metaphor that it's just a metaphor that was carrying within some other meanings.
Hmm.
What was mainly about like my episode, also connected to the video clip because there is a beautiful music video with that older music video.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that I'd say I'd say that's not necessarily a metaphorical song.
Yeah.
I have I'm pretty I'm very open about my I guess mental illnesses, one might say. I don't necessarily feel they're illnesses, but
No, this is the
um
way we are.
yeah. Yeah, I have bipolar and severely ADHD, definitely suffer from depression as well. I have, and I do um I sometimes have like episodes and not violent episodes where I hurt people, but definitely ones where I could hurt myself or inanimate objects. And yeah, I just kind of I wanted to write a song explaining that process and explaining kind of where what it does to my body when I feel that and what it is that triggers me to get me there. And how that feels just kind of like living in my skin. And I think also like I say a line in that song that I wrote a little bit later as I was crafting the song. I remember I listened to a podcast from one of my favorite one of my favorite thinkers and authors that writes on mental illness, and he said something really really poignant and interesting, which is like that he believes, with people that are diagnosed as being sick or something, that it's an interesting way of going about of saying that because truth is like society is sick, you know.
Yeah,
And really if you think about like the factions of what we consider mental illness and like these,
exactly.
these kinds of diagnoses that we put on people, a lot of the reasons they're there and they exist in comparison to the society that they're trying to function in. So it's like saying, I mean ADHD for instance, I've been kind of reimagining that concept of that and seeing how innately beautiful it kind of is that like that you have that it makes sense that somebody's brain would shut off to something that's
Yeah,
not giving joy or that would be difficult for them to go perform these tasks. And I think societally, because we have these kind of constructs of like
exactly.
this is how you're supposed to assimilate and move through things, like when people are not, when people just can't when people can't just fall into like the natural order of that, I think there's this there's this perception that that's a sickness, and that's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
so I think I was trying to find that was kind of the purpose of that song was.
And I think that in the episode itself, many people can see, themselves too, because we live I would say not that we could be sick, but we live in a sick society, like we said before. We live in a fucking sick society that most of the sick episode in the world doesn't came from people with, mental illness, quote unquote, but came from people that are completely not normal, said by some others, like, and they do the worst thing in the world. But people, it's a it's a kind of way that you can you're giving to kind of to the people of fan or girls or boys that are going throughout maybe the same thing. You're showing like, look, this is not to put you in a box. This is something that I have, maybe you have, your brother have, everyone in the world have. So it's something that is I would say not, it's part of who we are. Each of one of us has our own episode. We are not, not of us is, if you want to say like that, normal. Because I mean, I have traits of BPD. I have anxiety, depression myself. There are days that I want to throw everything out of the window. That I want to, this is life. This is, I think,
Yeah.
who we are. We are all different. If we will be all the same, what the fuck, boring world. And also, you put that in a really beautiful way. Also, you're performing in the music video, because there was a lot of curating in directing the video clips, also your performance, and then moving into the live part, to the
Hmm.
performing. How was structured all these uh, music video for all the three singles, of course?
You're talking about the referring to the process tapes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That was an interesting project because we didn't really have any plans for well, no, actually, that's incorrect. We've done a lot of kind of more traditional music videos,
Yeah,
and I think at this moment where we were when we released the process and everything, like we had a shift in our band a bit. We had a member, our keyboardist and vocalist Beck, ended up moving on, and we released that EP to sort of showcase like the sound of the band now and kind
yeah,
of even going backwards to what we wanted to be like in the
yeah.
beginning. I think be more what we wanted to sound like and be in the beginning as opposed to when we were kind of getting into this more contemporary rock space for a bit. And just bring back like the heavy, dark elements of the project. So with that, we wanted to do something kind of unique. And different than we've done instead of doing like, a standard music videos, like do it more like it's a live immersive experience. So, it like all that stuff was just us playing the EP live essentially. And then after we had filmed all the live stuff, my videographer and director Vicente, um he actually came to me and said, I think we should have some kind of like interwoven storyline of this.
Okay.
And the last song on the process, which maybe we'll get to, is called Dissolve,
So
and
yeah,
that one's more metaphorical.
definitely.
It's like the lyrics are kind of about the process of disposing of a body. And so we kind of figured that maybe having the storyline basically be exactly that. And kind of following in the footsteps and influence of something like the Broken Tapes, the Nine Inch Nails released,
Okay.
which was like kind of like an unmarked sort of culty VHS tape that they released that was kind
Yeah.
of had like a snuff element to it and
Yeah.
followed
Yeah.
like the trajectory of the story and was woven in video. So that was the purpose of that, to just kind of do something a little different with our video content this time around.
But it mattered. I mean, it's so beautifully together that you could have like the introduction and the ending of this kind of storyline, but it was almost like literally watching a short movie like itself from I don't know. But I think both people would be captured by the storyline, but also the performance live. Because I
Mm.
think that I don't know if it's because of the also the thing, I think the sound and how you were performing on the vocals, and in that what was that you were doing that with the was it was amazing. I love that part.
Oh, cool. It's a here
That's
I have
amazing.
I actually have it here.
Yeah, I want that in my house too. It's amazing.
It's called a water phone.
Okay.
Is the name of the instrument. Um, and it's this one is unique. It's from a company called Asm Bells, which is actually if you can read that, just like
Yeah,
you.
ensembles made in Italy.
Um, and this one's cool because it has a like it actually has a quarter-inch input and you can use it electronically.
Okay.
Normally, instruments actually have water inside of them, and
Okay.
to be honest,
Sure.
the and more analog the more acoustic ones are, have a bit of a richer sound because they're really carrying the vibrations through. This works a little bit more like a guitar and it has like a contact mic inside, and
Yeah.
then yeah, you take a I don't have
Snatch.
right now, but
Something.
you take a bow and
Well,
it
yeah.
works with the bow and picks up the
That's
vibration of this. And then I run it through this piece called a Chaosillator that this company Korg makes that has like a it's a synthesizer that has like a little pad
yeah.
on it.
But was
Yeah.
that? This was, I think, one of the highlights, at least for me speaking, when I heard that song. I was like, I don't know what is that, but this is the one of the most beautiful things that I've seen in a music video because it created that sound that is distorted, but it
Mhm.
gets you addicted. Like I want to hear it more, almost like a sound healing, something. But
Mhm.
it's a. I think it was a you. That's why you kept it like like the new, like being contemporary, but you keep it the sound of the 90s because it's not like you are copying or it's just going through. CONTRACULT is going with your own then way, with your own path, with your own music, with your own genre, with your own sound. An element like this thing that you it's
Mhm.
also what can literally make the difference, smaller difference, but also, like I said, the music video, the visual part, it's
Sure.
amazing. And also, I think the visual, it's something that people can, because of course, seeing you in this live music video, people may expect to see that as well in a live show, this type of music visual, this type of, yeah, music visual, yeah, because they go with the music.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I bought that instrument initially because I do a lot of soundtracks and scores for film and TV and such. And yeah, and when we lo- when we made the shift within our band, I think instead of I I wanted to kind of I wanted to sort of reevaluate my place on stage and be less of like, a very, point like very specifically like front person of a band and try to bring in, try to just bring a little more like musicianship to the project, I guess, because I mean, I'm generally the person that sits around and does and makes all these tracks and everything. So I kind of wanted to like represent myself as a producer, and then yeah, I think like the water phone thing came in just simply based off of that I was like, I've never seen anybody do this
Yeah,
on,
exactly.
never seen anybody bring one, and it's not it's a
Yeah.
mic'd instrument, so I have the ability to play it in that kind of environment instead of like having an analog one where I have to put a microphone on top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have to say it's cool. Like it's been something really gratifying that's like brought a different kind of element to our
Yeah.
performance, and just having these conversations is fun. Someone coming up like, "What the fuck is that thing?"
Yeah, I mean, it's made from Italy. I want to dig it more about that to see if I can find it somewhere in Italy because, like I said, it's a could be for someone a noisy sound, like a bothering what the fucking going in my ears, but it's not because it's fucking addictive. So I put it all the time. That's, I like that part. Just going that way because it can somehow, I think it has some earths that connect with your brain, I think, and that's what keep it cool. But also, like I was saying, in the you created as a contracult your own visual language, So this visual language, people will be able to see in the live show that are about to came. So we can announce some of them
Yeah.
finally.
Yeah, we're going uh at the top of May,
Okay.
May 2nd, May 3rd, and May 4th. We're doing a little East Coast run.
Okay.
We got invited to do a festival in New Jersey called Dark Force Festival,
Okay.
and so we're playing that Saturday the 3rd, and then the second on Friday we're playing in New York City at a place called Diablo, what is it? El Bunker Diablo, I think it's
Okay.
called. And then we're playing Philly on the 4th of May at a place called Nicky Lopez.
Okay. So it's a big thing also going already in a kind of tour live shows.
Hmm.
Also, like I said to you the first time, we did it CONTRACULT in Europe, like in
Yeah.
Germany, is the land of this type of genre. But I think it will. I mean, or if you, I don't know, but I think it will come the time also, because I think you got requested like one happened already, but it didn't happen. But you got re- request once, so it might happen twice. It will happen a third time because there's a lot of because now festival in Europe are mixing with different genre. Before it was just metalish. Now it's more folk, electronic, hard rock. There's a little bit of everything, and
Mm.
especially if you go into the kind of because I think it's more fitting or fitting control in the electro goth type vibes. I think it's all will always feel more like this is my my land. It's better. So
Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah. I think I think most festivals are
yeah,
I think as music starts to even become genreless in
yeah,
itself, there's so many different artists just kind of crossing paths, and
exactly.
it's not like you can you can socially like everything and anything, and there's just not as much like demonization or kind of gatekeeping
No,
around that. I
yeah.
guess that's moving through. I think a lot of these festivals are trying to, diversify their
Also
uh
for catching more audience and having to fulfill more the stage or the what the venue whatsoever. Because if you keep it, if it's a small festival which is just for folk or for the niche, it's okay. Like an industrial, that's okay. But it's for the big names so
yeah.
far. When you diversify them, come on, it's beautiful. You go to one stage and you see, I don't know, heavy metal. You go in another one, it's pop. I don't.
Mm.
It's cool because you can people that we are all there for one thing, for have fun, make noise, and as for these upcoming live shows, what how we can picture a live show of CONTRACULT, literally live show.
Hmm. um I think it's intense, it's emotional. We probably when we play locally, like we have a fair amount of like production and a lighting package that we bring with us. Going good flying to shows and everything, we don't have the opportunity to cart as much gear around, so we kind of have to do the B-rig of things. But yeah, I mean, we just like to get up there and do our thing at this point. I think there's I do think it's taken a little bit of a different direction right
Yeah,
now. I think the performance is like it's a little less, how do I put it? I think it's just a little more humble. I don't think it's not pulling away. I still think we're a pretty theatrical band, but I think it was really like, there was kind of an era of this band that was like very like makeup heavy and
okay.
kind of a little more of what, like, your typical ethos would be
Yeah.
for like an industrial metal band. And I think we've scaled that down a little bit. I think we've kind of like adulted the image down a bit, if for lack of a better terms, which, no disrespect to anybody that still wants
Of
to wear makeup.
course, I think
That's
it's normal. Growing up, influences, experiences of life, both of I mean, anyone in control. I mean, people change. If we will be all the same, what a boring life. Also, come on. And
Right.
when we're in music, I mean, for people that are always love the same music, like I see, no disrespect, but I get bored after a while. I don't know. I need diversifying, and that's why also because yeah, I think that yeah, of course you think you're gonna bring live all the process EP also.
Mm.
So it's gonna be and because before talking some new thing, I would like to finish. I would like to say to go into the dissolve song meaning, because we mentioned a bit about the video clip, but it feels but as all the concept and all the lyric wise side of the song, because like I said it could feel really almost raw and like anger in it that
Mm.
but it's you who wrote it, so you know better than me. The meaning that's at least how I feel it. Like is a kind of dissolving, almost like at the end fading. That this kind of anger fading away.
Yeah, yeah, I think so, and and maybe just the process, as I said before, like the songs the about getting rid of a body and
Yeah,
everything, and maybe that can metaphorically speak to just just pushing something or someone toxic away from your life, and maybe and not necessarily in such a violent, but but I think but I think it's like this, it's the
yeah,
concept of, some having to cut cords, having to cut ties, having to,
yeah. It's beautiful like what you
decide
explained. Yeah,
to kill your relationship with this thing that's not bringing you
yeah.
any, dragging you down and not bringing you anything
And
anymore.
it's it's important because how I mean any of us have at least one person, friend, what anyhow, even acquaintances that is toxic as fuck. And
Mhm.
we sometimes don't have even the strength, to just get rid of the person because maybe we care about the person and we carry this person for I don't know how much times. And happened to me that people are saying to me, why you're still talk with her or him? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's because some and when you hear music, that's the word of the role of your as a musician. I can put myself aside, like maybe this process of cutting tie and the episode of anger that I had of
Mm.
wanting to get let the person literally smash it to their face and then dissolving, like get rid of the person. Not
Right.
say don't do it like at home, like if you see in the video. That's don't do it all like advertising. But it's important because it can also means I think for anything that we live as a toxic in our experience. Not only people that are toxic, could be experiences that we are attached to leave it to let them go. So the process, I think it's a big and important album. I would say not full length, but a P album that can be used as also to reflect also on the society, because what I think CONTRACULT is, and we talk in the first interview, is like kind of stepping outside the boxes of the society
Right.
rules. So how much does it change from the since the first time we spoke about it until now? Still keeping that mindset of being outside of the box.
I think almost more than ever, I think especially now, like,
Yeah.
especially I think especially now, with how things have changed drastically just in the last few months, and the un undeniable rise of
Yeah.
fascism that's currently happening in this country and everything. I think it's like more important than ever
Yeah.
uh to be contradictory to that, to be critical of it, to
Yeah.
resist, and I think it's like, and it's actually, and there's it's not just it's like it's not just quite simply being, alternative. I think it's it's really because
Yeah.
these movements and everything are so specific to attack this thing and attack, like, this culture, and
Yeah.
everything that embodies it, that's, being perceived as anti-Christian or whatever insane rhetoric they're running with here. I think it's like more of a, it's more of a this is more of an opportunity now to be resistant of it. And it like now it's,
Exactly.
now it's like it's getting to a point where it's like gonna become, where it's literally, I think there's always been a certain element of danger
Exactly.
to be your way, and to be something that's not like, that doesn't fall in line with like the kind of the monocultured class of things. But I think even now it's
Yeah.
like we
Um,
really have to defend it.
yeah, well, don't tell me in my country. You know better than me in my country where it goes all the time.
Yeah.
Whoever, she's not never in Italy. She goes to
Hmm.
politically aside, we don't have no one here. Like, it's like we are left to nothing. We are just in Europe, but we are not. We're
Yeah.
not. We are not. I mean, that's creepy, but this is like perhaps right now what is being outside of the box, just looking the fucking truth and just saying, okay, please, this is a fucking, it's not even to say wrong or right, that's completely wrong, there's no right or wrong, that's one version sided. I mean, you can listen to version, but it's clear. And especially, I mean, what even what happened, we spoke like in California, all those fires and everything that happened, it's been I mean, and literally a lot. And you're still here doing music, so congratulations, still doing your things, still doing new singles coming
Hmm.
out soon. So we are here. So tell me more about this coming up. Let me remind you, the 5th, so next Friday.
Yeah. Um, yeah, we have a new single that we're dropping uh around these shows that we're doing to kind of give a little more promotion.
Okay.
I don't exactly know I know we have some other new music and
Oh, cool.
other things we're working towards. I don't
Okay.
know. I We haven't made a concrete decision if this single is gonna be part of that
Okay.
release or if it's gonna be a new patch of songs, but we just wanted to get this out and wanted to get
Okay.
something out there. The song's called OPD, and it stands for Only Posers Die, which is yeah, which is kind of a reference to SLC Punk. It's a pretty it's a pretty cunty diss track song. I'm not gonna get
Okay.
into who, I might be dissing, but you
Yeah.
know, I and I and I've been wrestling a lot and thinking a lot about the concept and like the term poser. And
Yeah.
you know, I think it's something that I think it's something that does hold a lot of like the people use in very, I mean, it is negative clearly, but
Yeah.
I think, I've been thinking about that and kind of like reevaluating that term for myself. And I think, and I think it kind of holds, I think it holds a lot. I think it does hold a lot of weight in like in
Yeah.
our present day time right now. And I'm not referring to somebody that can't name like track three on Skinny
Yeah.
Puppy's Cleanse Fold Manipulate or something like that, or you know, you only have this album, you don't get to wear this shirt, any bullshit like that. But I find that like, I'm constantly reminded by people that ultimately cosplay alternative cultures,
Yeah.
and then in their daily like
I,
in their daily life and the way they interact with people, the way they conduct business, the way they do
yeah.
everything falls in line with like, right-wing boomer energy or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just think it's like, and those people have to be checked, or somebody that uses uh somebody that uses like the concept of a BDSM or kink lifestyle ultimately to just
Exactly.
help people, and they say, no, it's not that I'm kinky or what have you, which I see that a lot. Or they want to stand by something like
Exactly.
Black Lives Matter, and and showcase themselves at the protests, and then the minute something goes wrong, the minute there's like a marital dispute or something simple in their life, they're calling the cops on somebody and
Exactly.
getting everybody involved. And to me,
This,
that's fucking
uh,
fucking
it's,
post.
yeah,
That's how,
that's it.
you
It,
know.
this song could be a strong message also because it just cover not poser like meaning metal word or alternative word. It's poser for any type, any person that says something and the other minute, just it's the opposite of what this person said.
Definitely.
So, anything,
And
yeah,
any of this like kind of, you know, and 1000% referring to anybody that like claims to be a conservative goth or something like that too. Like there's just no space for you here anymore. You can't be campaigning
yeah,
for like the complete destruction of a culture and then throw on some black eyeliner because you like to dance to Sisters of Mercy on the weekend. Like
like it,
go
yeah. Let's make this song the new national anthem of it.
really.
Could be the new national anthem of our countries.
Yeah.
And the song's gonna be with a music video or just the song itself on a social
I
stream.
don't think we're it's just the song itself now.
Okay.
I'm might be able to try to get some kind of video content together. Like I was like potentially try to film some of the shows we're doing over the weekend.
Okay.
I'd
Okay.
add to it for like a later video release. But I
Okay.
think but for the sake of time and
Just
things
quickly.
have been pretty busy the last couple months, so
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
able to get that
I mean, you
together.
did that fucking a lot. I just watching your social media. There was a independent movie scores going there, scores going over there. So you've been pretty much, and there's the last one I think is on Netflix. Your score for Bondsman. So you're also in a movie. So there's a lot of things going on in your life. So which is a
So
good thing, and I'm happy for you. Congratulations for that. But also for CONTRACULT, I'm happy that it's moving the wheel again. And like I said, I hope to see you in Europe for sure. I'm gonna be sooner in United States than in for sure because I'm planning to go soon as possible. But if always there is gonna be new music out or the chance to bring you, like I said, in Europe, I will let you know immediately, Travis, because there's not a mark, don't say mark. There is a place for your music here, and I
mm,
know that people would fucking always love it. And I don't know, I think I talked with the band Priest, maybe it was. I don't remember who they were, but I know new CONTRACULT, so they're like,
yeah,
so they were
I know
in.
I know those guys a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there's already kind of a way to be here in Europe because I think there would be a good way to expand the music more, and I
Yeah.
hope to see new releases also when you have when of course any of you have time, but for now, and let me enjoy the new music and for you enjoy the live show really. So thank you so much, and hopefully seeing you in some live in some other interviews, and thank you for your music because it's really, especially for being who you are, put yourself out there no matter what and say fuck, this is me. I think because also we are getting older, we don't have any more patience to
No, definitely
be
not.
facade. Yeah,
Nothing to apologize for.
yeah. So thank you so much, and let's say to the people the 25th or whatsoever around that day, check social media. It's gonna be on Spotify, I guess, social platform. New single CONTRACULT. Watch it, stream it, share it. The only way to bring it more in the touring.
That's true. Yeah.
That's the thing, something you would love to do a lot, I think.
Yeah. I'd like to do a bit more of it, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for everything always, Travis. And have a
Sweet.
good rest of the day and a good tour.
You too.
Bye.
But it's just a crutch. You don't need that can tell